Oh good, now we're together. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video this way, but I listened to one of my videos at a friend's place. Yes, I do listen to my videos, sometimes for curiosity, various number of reasons. So what happened is when the speakers came on, everything sounded like it was an echo hollow room. It's on old cement. The building is more than 50 years old. Actually, probably just before they penetrated the market into manufacturing new kinds of cement, where it no longer resonates the way it should. You know, when I first started watching, I think it was 432 on Facebook. I think it was 432, or is it Truth and Revelations? I'm not quite sure which one it is. I usually seem to not pay attention to things that are so important. And it ended up falling on the floor anyways. I was in the middle of something. You came and you bothered me. I'm sitting here in my office, okay, and I was like ready to smoke one of these. It's not a joint. I'm telling you, it's not marijuana. And even if it was, I get a notice from my doctor. They don't like that too much. The doctors don't believe in this. And I'd like to sit down with her and discuss it, but I really don't have the balls to somehow discuss with my doctor if marijuana is actually good or no good. We all know too much is too much. And nothing at all is not even to be talked about. But it's not, I mean, sometimes you hear you haven't had sex for 6 months. You haven't smoked a joint for 6 months. Another one will say, oh, I haven't smoked in my whole life. Okay, so you're not into it. You don't believe in it. It's not your thing. You know, there's a lot of things I've done that you don't do. Okay, you tell me where you find a pair of hands like this that are all beaten up. My hands are all beaten up. But I'm 50 years old, just about. Just about, that is. I will hit 50. Whether or not I'm in the human skin is another thing. But all I have to do is make it to October. And I've done 49. You see what happens when you get to the month of October? I have to wait 12 more months, or actually 11 months and a certain number of days. I don't know why I said it. Everything I think and say, the reason for that is because if there's something in the year that's unforeseen, okay, it might add on or take off, and it'll only do it in the last month. If we're counting, because everything is wrong. You don't have to, I'm all over the place, I know this, soon I'll be with Jack and Jill, but you don't have to say, just say what day it is. You see, if we went by the stars, it'd be so easy, there's no mistakes. But we go by a calendar, we go by dates and names, and there's no coordinates. What coordinate is Tuesday? Where are we every single Tuesday, and where is that star every single Tuesday? Year after year after year, there's going to be a pattern. And you know what would be funny? If all of a sudden you start the pattern at 3.1, whoop, 4, whoop, 1, 5, 9, 2, and then the other pattern starts on the other side, so it doesn't look the same. We're going one way. Pi is everything about 3. Okay? First there's one God, and here's the same God. But in this position, he's 2. Because he's for that world. The 2 world is the in-between world. To me, it's the brown world, the brown dwarf star. It's that world. It's in between. It's inside of the bigger square. It's a heaven of an empty space where in each corner to hold up these worlds, he placed certain planets in certain positions to hold this webbing. And if you remove this webbing, you will probably see other planets come about. And boom, shebang, here come the other planets. Not everything is doubled. The only time it starts to double, okay, is when it gets like this. It goes 1 to 9, and there's really no 10th planet. It's the 10th planet is Mercury. So Mercury, how it started is 1. Venus, how it started is 1. 10, 11, and 12. And Earth, as it started as 1. 10, 11, 12. Repeat themselves. So that means if they repeat themselves, there's got to be 2 of each. 10, 11, and 12. And in any ways, for the reason of that is because regardless of what we do, okay, God runs the angel world. Even if we're not in the creation world, it is still a God, one spirit, who runs creation. But he runs creation, okay, in the D world, okay? D, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Do it on a triangle on your phone, okay? The D is right there. What he does in that position, okay, is he takes from 1, and he takes from 7, and he injects it inside the world of 2, 4, 6, and 8. For the same reason, okay, that 3 and 9, 6 grabs from 3 and 9, and it takes it into 6. And how is 6 made? 6 is made like this. First comes number 2 for the 1 and 1. Then comes number 4, because the 4 is under 1, 4, and 7, and that's the spirit sign. That's God's area. Okay, so he goes first. So the next number, the 4 number, is over there. 2, 4. And then man's alive is 6. And then the empty space. The connection on the bottom, the return is important of everything else. Neptune. If you've gotten to your iTunes, don't bother me. I'm listening to Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Were they in Parliament? Was it Parliament Hill? Jack and Jill went up the hill. I wrote something about this. Where did I write that? Let me see. Let me see. Okay, right here. Let me try and figure out where this Jack and Jill crap comes in. Because I started with this. HTTPS. Heel to toe and soul. But it does not have H, heel to toe, HTT. The first one, okay, is just the 8, okay, and it's H because it is the heaven. The second, when it goes HT, you can say, well, is it 10, 20, or 30? Or is it Tuesday and Thursday? Or is it actually talking about beta? And it is, but it's in this world. Heel to toe is actually because H counts for the birth. Once you have the 8, okay, that means you have the 9, because you don't need the H until the 9. H to a 10-10 world is 2, which would make it time heaven. Okay, so now we're going to go over this again. HTT, heel 10-20, or heel 20-30. Well, once you already got the heaven, it already speaks for 10. The H speaks for 10 alone, because the H turns sideways or divided the way it is, it's an ICC. It's just letter. It's plain and simple letter designs. I'm not talking about the 2 points north and the 2 points south. There's many ways to put the combination together, but HTTPS, the P, okay, can also be looked at as the S. It could be HTTSS. The reason it's for this is because they're both connected to the 1 on the telephone, both the P and the S. They are also connected, okay? They are the same number, okay? In roulette, if you flip the board upside down and take out the middle 6, 3 on each side, the P and the S will be 1. Same thing as well as the Q and the letter T, as well as the letter R and the letter U. R-U, a roo in the middle of the street, kangaroo, in a puppet, inside a pocket, inside a world, HTTPS. So that's basically what it is. And then if you want to go to www, you know, www is, it's so funny because, say number 1. Just say 1. O-N-E. Say it. 1. W-O-N-E. That's what it sounds like. And 16, 19 connect, and that makes a 1. 17 and 20, that connects, and that makes a 1. And 18, 21 connects, and that makes a 1. WWW. The rue, the street, the Jerusalem. Don't you see the connections? You must put everything together. Everything gives an average value because other people have used that number for something else. Therefore, they both connect to the same number. It's got to have something. It'll just extend. Oh, here it is. I found it. It was at the other end of the piano. It was still the C letter, but it was at the other end. I didn't look deep enough inside the closet. So what did Jack and Jill go up the hill to do? Let me go spy on them and see what they went to do. Let me see where it is. I'm not here. Jack and Jill. Okay, let me see where I am. Okay, let me see where I am with Jack and Jill. Oh no, this is maybe what I want to do. Let me drop that and come here. But if I come here and I can't explain it, how can I explain this? Okay, now I'm going to have to bring you to Jack and Jill. See, I screwed up this whole video now. Where in the world is Jack and Jill? Jack and Jill, okay. Jack and Jill top 10 high, they went to top the hill. To top, they went to the top. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Did they go all the way to the top? They went up the hill. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Well, you know what? I think this is all a mixed up story. The hill he went up, okay, was in his mother's stomach before he was born, okay? And when he broke his crown, all they were talking about was the crown was that bubble that was protecting him inside his mother. And the next thing he felt was the hand of a doctor. Jack broke his crown. Hand of a doctor. Put his hands on his head. 5 fingers were put. 10 fingers under his head to help the child that broke the water to leave the world. And Jack and Jill went up the hill. And Jack came out at the angle of 9 birth. 135 degrees on your telephone. 5, 3, and 1. ACE. Face. It's just working out so perfect. I just hope I'm explaining this right. I know I jump all over the place. I mean, you do know about Humpty Dumpty. It's the same story. It's the crown of his head. Here you go. There's my crown. You like it? I got a crown. Can't take it off. I'm crowned forever. Till death do us part. Then you know what? My little peanut in there that I don't think too much of. Hey, guy inside my head, what's going on? Oh, you don't want to share anything with me now? You can't do 2 things at once. You like to stay focused. That's the kind of guy he is. I put up with it all the time. What else do I have to do? Jamaica. J-A-I. The first letter. The 9th letter. First total combination of 9. What do you get? You get A and I. You add them together. You get J. You got J-A-I. J. It means I have. Then it says Mecca. M-A. Angel of love. Creation angel, Jamaica. That is a very, very strong, anything with a J is a very strong combination because it is a combination from A to I. You see, God stopped everything, okay, on 6. But when he stops everything on 6, there's an altercation. Because if you took the average of 6, which is 3.5, away from 6, you have 2.5 and you have no creation. 2.5 is in regards to the diamonds. So he must start on 5, A and E. 1 is 3 in one row and 1.5 in the next row. Okay, because otherwise it would be 10. Well, what happens is the A needs a starting point before it becomes the A, and then the E needs a resting point after what the totality is of the first 2 objects. So the totality of your 5 needs 1 standing stick for the left to rest on and not to be on the first one, not to be on the A, and when he finishes at the last letter, not to be on that last letter, he has to have a standing stool. So before the A, they would put the 0. But the standing stool after that would be the F. 1 and 5 is F. Okay, 1 and 5 is F. There's your F. This, okay, doesn't seem like much, okay, but when you continue to design it, let me fix the camera. When you continue to design it, you don't notice X, Y, that came out of these two. Just take away your F. Just recreate your F, like we have over here. And all I do is put one line straight up, and you have AD, ACAD, AF upside down. Or you have an X and a Y and one stick. When you have X with a one stick over here, that means 9. So this total is 9. This is the 25th letter, but it's flipped upside down for the next world. So we'll count it as either 25 or 27. Let's count it at 25 to reduce the confusion. 25 and X9 over here is 34. 34 equals 7, and it's this word. This is the count of the word. It equals to 7. Like I says, when you finish your count, always put it back on top. When you put it back on top, it equals to 41. 41 is the Baltic. 41 is the Mediterranean. 43 is the Baltic. But wait a second, we have a complication. See underneath my finger? Do you remember what was there? You remember? You remember it's number 41, right? But if I put it this way, I got a jack with a little cap on top. So pending what this cap is all about, you know what you have to do? Anything that's in the center can go for the long ride. All you do is you extend it. Now you have an I and an L, total of 21. Now you've entered into the world. You do know that number 7, right? You see the 7? Let me turn that around now. Take a closer look at that 7. It's not a 7 anymore. It's a 4, eh? So it sort of looked like a 7 from over here, okay? But if it's put in the right spot, it turns into an automatic 4. Because I don't have to write. I don't have to write. It's these lines here that will automatically penetrate. The reason it stops over here, because this is your center. It's got to stop over here. There's another gate over here on this side. Okay, this is one part. Here's another gate. There's another gate, another gate. And this one's on an elevator, and they turn around like this, like roasting a chicken. How do I know all this? Oh, I hate to say I know everything, because I know nothing at all. You really want to know before I forget what I'm talking about? Before I even forget to tell you, we talked about Jamaica. Look, Jack is the 10th letter in the alphabet, or 1 omega, right? But take a good look at the word. The same thing as Jamaica. Do you know why? Because the M is a 3 and 7. In order to get the 10, okay, you must have the 3. Automatically, the A is created. Then you have Jamaica, like Jamaica. I know the word fits in there somewhere. Yeah, I can make it all up. Anyways, you want to know how I know all this? And how come you think, how come if it's possible that you're asking me this question, that you may think that I actually do know it? Well, the bullshit that you're listening to is a goddamn book. It's no more than that. It's a book. I'm telling you a story like a book. Everything I told you is not true. Doesn't mean anything. Makes no sense. And where do I get this book from? MrTacpans. He's the one tells me all this stuff all the time, especially when I smoke that wacky shit. It's like going on cocaine. Holy crap. So you know what happens if I don't smoke it? I go down and down. I start getting a little bit nervous when I start to concentrate to do these videos and write. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm a little buzzed. I'm not in the mood really to eat. I consistently don't worry about my diet. My diet is fine. And I'm definitely getting enough fruits and vegetables, and fresh, that's for sure. Now and again, I'm like a vampire, and I want that bloody meat. So, MrTacpans, I'm blaming it all on you right now, so whatever happens in the future, it's all your fault. You understand, Mr.Tacpans? See the numbers in the back? Read them any way you want. I see them. I don't see them as 7286. Maybe you will see them as that. I'm seeing them a reflection in my camera. Anyways, 72 is actually 38, and that stands for the club, the black club. Then you have what you see is supposed to be 86, which stands for 24, which is the 24 hours of the day, and the club is the mind. And why? Because if you write down the word club, C-L-U-B, 3, L, 3, U, 3, B, 2. Does it sound like anything yet? E, that planet coming in, E, C, L, 2049. Don't you see what it says? It's not 2049, it's 2008. It is, it just is, it's 2008. The word 49 and 49 together says the 8 heaven. That's what it is. And also, 9 and 4 is 13, 1 and 3 is 4, it's the M letter and the D letter, MD, medical doctor. 13th letter and the 4th letter is 17, the queen. She's a coming. It's in the numbers. She's a coming. You see, you don't need to read the future. All you have to do is read the present. They just kept reading the present over and over again in the past, and it became today. That was yesterday. Now tomorrow has come and it's gone, and now, wow, we're still looking upon the future. For the everlasting time, for it shall come, and when the tomorrow comes, it is today, then yesterday. And again, we await the future into ever long lost last, but has become the long lost past. And for all those who do not know what eternity is a period of time that you go around to come around. So every time in pi that you see a 0, you have gone around and come around the second time in order to get that omega egg. It stands on guard for thee. Why? Because it shows you no numbers in the egg, and you automatically know omega is 15 equaling to 6. At the same time, it is broken down to who I am is J and E. Je. The J is 10. The E is 5. Who is 10 and who is 5 is all 15. The first letter and the fifth letter, A and E. And that equals 6. That's the letter F. The letter F to the right stick. The letter F to the left, to the right. When you see 135, right away you're looking at 11. There's a stick to the left. If you see an O and an A, you're talking about 9. Omega angel and the one with a face. We know it's a baby, but what does it look like? It's that simple. 135 degrees. Turn over to the side where 7 is. Look towards the 7th gate. Puts down the signs. And at 135 degrees from 12 o'clock, the 7th elevator rolls over. And she lies down, and the screw, you know the screws? Well, the screws turn. And it moves 9 over to 8 through the 7th gate. Becomes a walkway. And then it rises up. You see, you don't start at the bottom of the elevator. You start in the center. When the elevator goes up and the other one goes down, let me show you what it looks like. You see this. You've seen it at the Montreal Forum and the Canadians hockey who won 24 Stanley Cups. This is where the 7th gate comes in from 9. And it takes you from here and it lifts you up whichever way. You going up or you going down. And it's that easy. And you know the way the Russians used to hold an arm like this and an arm like this? Okay? And they start to dance and it's waving. Well, it's basically like the 7th wave. Hey! You ever see the way a wave is? It starts down at the bottom, goes all the way to the top. What were we talking about? Smoking a cigarette. the seventh gate and the movement, where we start, why we start in the center, is because if you started on the far left, you'd be in the spirit world, my friends. If you went halfway, you'd be dead center. Do you understand? Dead center, 30 points creation. You create from the center out, throwing the dart into the red zone, and just around it is 25. You live just around the core of the truth. That's one of the reasons pi is also lost in many calculations. Once you get to a 0, that 0 counts all the way at the top, but you're at the bottom, and whatever is between that 0 and the next number, that 0 owns those numbers. That 0 will own from 9 all the way down. If, let's say, the number before would be 25 minus 27, or no, 0.5 minus 15. Where that 0 was, you need to buy something from the left. So you buy from the left, so you give enough to yourself so you can break down your 0 to its real value to give over to the right. Now you're going down from, actually, from 0 to minus 1, but they don't show it that way. That's what it is. So do you understand? Hold on, let me write it down. 37, 29, okay, got it. It's funny that I chose any numbers and my answer was 2 omega. 30. 2 omega means 30. I told you, go to an egg farm where they have those trays that are gray and this big, grayish blue. You know what I'm saying? Look how many eggs are in there. There's 30. But now if there's 30 eggs, how many divisions are there? You'll see when you put the egg trays together, it makes the I letter, it makes connecting worlds. Okay, so let me show you what happened. Is I went ahead, okay, and took 307 and minus 0.29. From this 7, okay, it was able to go all the way down to an 8 because it borrowed on this side. So when it borrows on that side, so the Roman numeral shows it borrowed on this side. The spirit sticks it right here, equaling to the value of plus 10. Okay, that's why most things you calculate, you can't calculate because you have to add 10 or put a 0 at the end and it'll be divisible. Where things are not divisible, like 31, if you put a 0 on the end, it changes the whole outlook to a divisible word of 155. And that total is 11, 1 and 1 is 2. So it is divisible. So anyways, you have this on the left. So we borrow from here, we put it here, and it ends up to be 8. What's left here? There ain't nothing left up here. But everybody forgets about that number. Just because the number is filled, they look at the number, they got their answer at the bottom, they left the number at the top all alone. Well, what did you start with? What brought you here? What ended up calculating that each number got their own digit in their own house? You know what I'm saying? You can't leave things out. Oh, don't leave it outside. It'll freeze out there. You left it in your trunk. I don't know. Did you leave it in the fridge or did you put it in the freezer again and forgot all about it? Boy, how we forget so easily, eh? So anyways, we come down and 0 omega. She ain't got nothing. How the hell you pass a 2 through nothing? You go to the other side and you borrow. Oh, what if it's another omega? Well, you borrow again. And you keep on borrowing until you get it. And if you never get it, you ain't here to listen to me do this cassette. You haven't made it. Because the minute you come here, as you know, that stick of your birth is in your hand. When you are born, you get a spirit stick right in your hand. That is your cane that makes you able. Jack is a cane. Jack is more. It's a jack of all trades because that J does so many things. And if you just say the words hi, J, K, and R are both A residents. A, and A, okay? So if you say I or hi to God, who's I, and you say JKR, you go, hi, Jacker! Whoa, get me out of here. What's he bringing it up for? No one should know that I'm on Earth. Not allowed down here. And if we go up into the sky, I don't care if I die, because I don't die. So that's the way all these guys from the other countries think. Anyways, let me get back onto this. So we end up borrowing over here, okay, blending it over here, and instead of having 10 to work with, we have 9. We borrowed a hole, but we no longer have a hole. One of the holes went away. We wouldn't have to borrow if there were 2 zeros. They would be equal. And 2 zeros are 2 omega eggs. And that would equal to 30. And if I did that, I'd have to take away this from here in order to equal this. Doesn't matter what this would happen. But then if you borrow this again, it goes to here. So it reduces again one more time. So anyways, that's what you have. Now, so even if this number is 0, at the same time it's 90. Every time you need to borrow, leave the number there. You'll see the full value. Right here, this number would say 907. That's what would be the value in between these numbers. If you want to add this, you have to reduce these two to one value only. And then these two would be in between. Let's say 7, 9 is in between, and 1. Go up 8, go down 2, the value is 6. 6 divided by the actuality of 9 is 9 and 6. And that means 1 spirit of the 7 and 9. 9 times 7 is 63. That's creation. Anyways, forget about that. Forget about that. Let me have a no. Let me smoke this. Let me smoke this. What are we gonna do? What is it? 30 minutes? 2 more minutes. All right. I'll do another video. Should I do another video? Raja on Facebook. Thank you very much for that nice comment. Okay, guys out there who are watching me, fix me up, straighten me out. Forget about what I know and what I don't know. Let's see what we can know together. Like I said before, this is not for one man what I'm doing. If you believe in any structure of my work, and I am going to show you matrix time, I will show you metric time. I will show you how metric time will fold into everything a lot better. And I may switch the weeks to 3 weeks. I'm not sure. It all depends on you. Do you know why? Because you makes it what comes around. That's the extra week it takes to turn around that you. That's why we have that 7 extra days. And then everybody knows we have the 1.25 extra days at the end of the year that don't work out. But I completely came up with an answer for that. And I'm a little excited today. I'm very excited. I got very excited. I went to get something for somebody, and I had to pick this up. And now I can look at all the numbers to see how they work out and how their 2-digit number works out. I'm going to use all their numbers you see here, names, letters, against the 65 of whatever value. The dot is what pertains to that value. That dot now becomes 11. So right away, whatever I see, 40-6, because it's the omega and it's a square dash, 40 is the game. 4 and 10, 40. 4 times 10 is 40, and add back the 4 would be 44, and 6 is 50, plus the dot of 15 equals to 65, and we get the exact wrap number. Whoops, fell upside down. What was that, 95? Raphael 7286. Yeah, my next video I'm going to do a little roll with the moons. 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Study the stars, you will know the short future coming. You will see where it will happen. And by the pinpointing the exact locations in the sky and here on Earth, it will tell you a story between the two. Because there will be elements that you flop. Because you flopped it from one world into the other world. So that's going to remain still in the other world. So once you redesign the angle on the original piece that was there, you can reconnect to the next movement of where that angle actually pushes out. But we all know where it is. They want to get rid of everybody in the Baltic. There's something under the Baltic. There's a power source right under the Baltic, somewhere communications. We know there's something in Colorado. We definitely know about that. We know about what happened with BP. It had nothing to do with oil. That was all a big cover-up. We know about that. That was just something else you hid somewhere. I mean that thing was so stupid because I myself designed something to cap that leak under regardless the amount of pressure. Regardless the amount of pressure. Regardless. You know how it works? Do you know how to make a U-turn? Well, that's what you do. You just turn it around it. Full pipe, open as big as you want. You want a 10-foot pipe, you put a 10-foot pipe. All you have to do is bind it on the bottom. How hard was that to figure out? When I figured it out in the third day, okay, now I don't even know if I'm right, but when I figured it out in the third day, I didn't even know what to think, and it took me a long time to figure out that it was done on purpose. It's not only for that. There's someone, I think that's a member of my association here on MrTacpans, that he saw something in the water. I mean, there's a lot of things. You see, you see the rainbow? Well, we're just under the rainbow. But if the rainbow went all the way around, man's not down here. Man's up here. This is the center. Then this is the earth. Man has to, man is like, I mean, it's almost insane, but man, okay, is directly, and I'm just guessing, directly, his feet are directly being pulled down to the bottom of the core of this earth. 100%. It's impossible if it's not. How do I count for my findings? Why don't you just spread your legs? Whether you're going to jail or going to bed, you spread your legs both ways, you get nailed. They put your arms behind you, you're dragging from behind 11. And your V is now at 22 degrees. What am I talking about? When they handcuff you, okay, your arms come together more like in a V shape in your back. That's an elongated V shape, which actually makes the extension on the X letter not from 45-45, but by 22-22, which is 22 from here to here and 22 from here to here, angle down to the back of your back. And if you ever noticed, that the rest of the V, okay, from your arms turns in between the crack of your ass, which turns that V, okay, into a Y, which makes your life a question mark. So you see all the letters we've got out of this, and all we did is one little thing. Okay, yeah, I said 2 minutes. Okay, that's enough. I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost. You want to know how I know any of this? I don't know nothing. I know nothing. I'm telling you what I feel. I'm telling you what I read in the numbers. My own definitions, of course. And so, not of course. Because when it says waterfall, I'm not sure what to do first. Look up and take a picture or check who fell down. When Jack fell down, I wasn't sure if it was a fall down, or was a fall out, or was a waterfall at all. And Jack and Jill were just going up and down the hill, and he came tumbling after, because maybe they went down in a barrel. Jack broke his crown. What about Humpty Dumpty? How come they didn't watch? How come they didn't watch? They were all around them. How was he sitting on a wall? If he knew he can fall and break his neck, what was he up on the wall for? Taking a chance just like every other guy in this world. Humpty, get off that wall. But wait a second. Humpty, don't get off the wall yet. Wait a second. Let's lower the wall for man a little bit. Because if man's mind stops making leaps, the man would just fall apart. I'm quite sure. And I'm just basing this on me. I know if I don't come here on video every single day, I'm screwed. I need to force out the knowledge that I think I have and share it amongst the people. Let it grow. I have nothing for sale. Money. The only thing I want money for is so I can run for Prime Minister of the world. To take care of the entire world, so the entire world has what they need. And make it into a sort of like Walt Disney World, where certain places you go, you can have guns. So if people get killed, the laws are different. You know what I'm saying? In certain places, because people might want to go. But only so many get to go a year. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like hunting season, but for each other. What can you do? I mean, would that be insane? How do you stop man's insane mind? Unless, truthfully, with the new conscience super train coming in with the next prep train in the next 3 years, finishing in 2016, but the extension and expression of the seventh gate will not happen till 2026. When the heaven makes its mark. What is 226? Go around the alphabets and try to end on Z. 26 and 26 is 52, the 52 of the Mayan count, the 0.25 of the Earth movement, the 2 and 5 that make 7 that takes the elevator from one floor down to the second floor so God can pray Iskor. Does anybody know what this is? What happens is the one God works from the 2 position. He goes down to the second floor where it's the center court, number 5, E world. Okay. Where the 9 birth rests. The 19th letter, spirit, he goes down to the spirit world. Okay. He goes down and acts by position number 5. But he is in position number 1. The 5 is as a number. If you put it into certain ways people do things, it'll actually look like an I and an S. The 5 is the core, as you know, on the ace or the 1 dice. So you would have 1, 5, COR, or Iskor. It's some kind of Jewish prayer of some sort. It's the center of the dice. It's the holiest place of all. I don't think anybody gets to go to the center. I don't know how that works. It also stands for 1, because there's only 1 dot in the center, but the 1 dot in the center represents the 6 and the 4 on the outside. The 4 is the spirit, the angle, the energy, the angel side that your mind is connected to. And the 6 is you. So God works from the 5-fold. He becomes you, 5 and 6. And man is 5 and 6 only tells me that Jupiter, who has 36 moons, creation of man, 36 numbers on roulette, 3 and 6 is 9 birth, 3 by 6 is 18 chai, 1 spirit of 8, which is the 9 numbers your telephone, 5 is in the center. Where was I? 36 numbers, Iskor, center, 5. 9 in just the letter J and A. J and A is made from A and I. It's basically the alpha omega. The I is the omega. You know how? If you actually take away, okay, 9 from 1, you get -8. 8 would be the heaven. It would only mean 1 heaven. Therefore, now you have the answer. Now, if you go 9 the other way, okay, you have 18, which now gives you the 1 center of the 8 around it. Now, if you do it the third way, which is, oh, I'm still on tape here? I thought I was faking it. So if you do it the third way, which is an exacto, which it tells you about first, second, and third all inside the same one by saying A to I, which is 1 to 9, minus the 9 from the number before it, because isn't that what we do in Roman numerals? We mark down A to I, and what happens? We go A to I, and then we take away what's in front of it. Just like if I would do a Roman numeral, an X with a 1 here, I do the same thing with this. I remove this from this, and I end up behind A. So how do you end up behind A? Where do you have it? (10M). What happens? The 9 goes behind A. It becomes an omega. So omega has a new value now. Okay? It goes behind 8. So how do I know the value is 0? You never played pool before? The 8 ball is for both sides. If you take the 9 away from it, you got 0. And if you take the 1 away from itself, you got 0. Because you can't take the 1 away from 0. And you have the cue ball, the white ball. So you have the white ball. So now I have letters from O to, now I have where A minus 1 became nothing. So we put an O there. And 9, okay, plus the next number. Okay, excuse me, 9 plus the first number now. Now we do the 2 combinations, okay, or the next number, okay, which is a jack. But jack is a 10. 10 and 9 is 19. 1 and 9 is 10. So the answer is 10, which is actually 1. But in this scenario, I'm looking for a total because I'm climbing and creating, and I need more numbers. I have to continue up, so I'm not reducing it. So 2 times, when we remove 1 from 8, the 1 ball from the 1 ball makes the cue ball, and when you remove the 9 away from the 8 heaven, you end up with the cue ball again. Not only that, okay, not only that, but the cue ball, okay, is also gets to be after the 15 ball. So the cue ball gets to be ball number 16, ball number 0, okay, and ball number 17. And ball number 17. Okay, I know it's a hard understanding. Listen, then the value of the cue ball, okay, is like this. Because you minused and got this once, and then you minused and got this twice. Then, okay, you have the regular cue ball is in its place. One of them is in its place. There's 2 plus the actual cue. The cue breaks up to have these 2 values. Okay, so now if I put the cue in there, it'll be 3 of them. But the one in the center will be equal to whatever the value is on these 2 over here of the cue, which is 16, 17, and 0. Those are 3 of the numbers. So now what you have to do is, since there's no 16, 17, but there is a cue ball, okay, I'm going to go back to the jack letter. A and I equals 10, and 33 equals 6. And because I have 2 more balls, regardless of the numbers, right? Just because there's 2 more of them, I go 1 and 1, and that would make 12. And now I have 12, 2 dice, 6 each, and the starting of the 3rd dice is the cue ball that's actually on the table. You see, first we talk about as it is there. Okay, and because it's already on the table, we only need 3 more parts, and we got the whole thing figured out. In this life, just like time, they've put it all together. They put time all together to come out, okay, to beta omega. I'm working on alpha omega, not beta omega. Beta omega is the 24-hour time. It's the angle of time inside this world, okay? That's 24 hours. I'm going back to 15, okay? That's what it has to be. I can go to 18. Okay, which is one side of the heaven, but at 15, that's where it actually shows you the truth. Why? Because 15 is 1 and 5. If I take 5 away from the number in front of it, which is 4, makes again 0. A and 0 go together. Omega and alpha goes together. And there's beta omega. I don't know, you want 2 strips of bacon? You want 2 sausages or 1? All of these are all, I mean, you can write a Bible on walking into a restaurant and starting to maybe thinking of ordering within the next couple hours after you go through the menu. Oh, Ma, look at this, $3.99. You know where they got that from, eh? Oh, look at this one. It's cheap. 467. Like the numbers. They go pretty good together. 272. Is that what it is? Because at 272, you're just about coming out of your mother about now. Every number has a relationship in creation. Hey, Dragon Buddy, how long ago did we finish this? Did we do the planets yet? What didn't we do? I'm so much all over the place. I show you something. See this? It's not exactly what it looks like, okay? It's this way. Take a look. It's an X and an X. It's only two X's. And at the same time, it's the Budweiser design. You ever see the Budweiser tie? It's a design like that. We live here. See the angle it's on? You play tennis, you go down here. You play tennis, you go up here. That's right. Even my metric time, it works in the game of tennis also. Everything's going to work in it because that's the real time. It's all about 15, 5, 10, 15. The nickel from Canadian coins and the sailboat as we cross from A to Z. You know what that means if we cross from A to Z, eh? It means A 2 times Z. And if you ever see what Z looks like, it means you're sliding all the way down. I mean, you start in one corner on the left. You go all the way to the other corner. You go all the way down. You go all the way over. And then you're in the Y section because sometimes Y. So you go all the way up. And you go all the way over. And then you make a leg down. And then you connect on the A. And you go down on the A. And you go up and then around on the B. And then you make a C. And then you make a D. I can practically take aerobics just on telling the alphabet. Okay, and enough's enough. Do you understand? If you have number 18, you can take 17 away from it. If you got number 19, you can take 20 away from it. Okay, you can't do it to all the numbers. Okay, it doesn't work like that for all the numbers. You have to look at the roulette board. Okay, you can do it, but first option is to start the Roman numeral way. Okay, you got to do it in the value of your own destiny. This is the way. What I know is only because it works in the value of your own destiny. Whatever you set for your goals in your life, these are the things you will start to know. And you will start to learn why you should never turn away from the true destiny of life. Because it's always trying to push you back. And sometimes the angles, if they're not on your side, instead of pushing you back, they push you down. Things are on an angle. You just don't get pushed over and back into the game. You get bumped up or you get bumped down. Psychologically, of course. Mentally is like the worst way. Right? I mean, I can sit in this chair forever, but I go nuts. But if my mind said you won't, I won't. And if you don't want to, you won't. It's a tough, tough, tough gig. So we put it at the end. And at the end there is truth. And the omega comes at the end. And I jump into the omega and I swim. And I swim. And all of a sudden, oh, how long have I been sleeping? Oh, you slept a long one, my friend. Almost 14 hours. What? 14 hours is the passage? He says, yes, my friend. He says, 1 more hour and you don't return. What are you talking about? Don't return where? What? I'm a human being on planet Earth? Oh, is that what that, oh, yeah. I couldn't understand that. You know, I'm sort of on LSD inside this brain. LSD, long-lasting spirit central. To conquer and divide. TH, time heaven of choice. THC. You have 1 more hour in your dream, my friends. You are going back into the worlds to spread the word that we are connected, and thus this is nothing but a dream. Dream angel. The dream in the world of A to M, I love. regardless of the fact that 54 minutes that you have put 54 minutes of my mouth into your ears. What vacancies have you taken during that time? Are you just frustrated, going nuts and don't know what to say, but you won't leave a note because you can't stand half the things I say don't make any sense? Don't you see this going around me, the picture? It's like an omega. Why are you still watching me after 54 minutes? I'm not here to make cents, bucks, doughs, dollars, any kind of pant in the fridge. I am not here to G, J, I, me, C, A anywhere. Oh, I just told you the time of the day. This is like an awakening. Like going to a bad movie, but inside the movie you come home and you say, shit, never thought of that. Pretty stupid, but never thought of it. See those two empty spaces of orange behind me? Do you know each of them have a pinpoint center of and an exact reason why? The one on this side over here is square. The one on this side over here, okay, that would be a 22.25 degree angle touching at where my ear is, almost in the middle of my ear, which is perfect. And that gives a 22.5, and that'll just make the clock tick like to here on both sides, just like that. 135, 7th gate, right there on that angle. I don't know why the two are not the same. Juncture in the road. Where are we to rest next? Back to the world that doesn't exist? Or does it exist? Dwarf star? I said I wasn't going to get into planets or keyboards or much of anything else. Here's, can you figure it out? This is what it is. Can you see this? It's the same thing. See two jacks? Looks like a T. I got a T-bird. I got a T-bird. Oh, I got so much paper here. But all these papers. I'm so many freaking papers for rims. See this? The water? It's finished. Okay, so what are we going to do now? I know it's the end of this tape. That's it. I'm getting on to the next tape.